Hi there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Josh Mansfield, a teacher with the Demon, and with me is Nathan Fox, one of the founders of LSATdemon.com and the weekly podcast Thinking LSAT. Our email today comes from Eve with the question of ignoring the clock.
Yes, do that. Ignore the clock. Eve says, at the beginning of August, I took a cold diagnostic and got a 157. Okay, that's an excellent cold diagnostic. There's no way you're not making it into the 170s if you do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's shocking for a lot of people. You know, there's like a myth out there that you can't improve at the LSAT.
Or you can only improve 10 points. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know she can only improve 13 points.
That's...
Oh, sorry, 23
no,
points.
23 points.
23 points. 23 points is the maximum for Eve.
Yes,
because
that
she
is
starts
correct.
at a 157. But literally 23 points is her ceiling. I mean, there's no ceiling besides 23 points here for someone who starts that high.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make it into the 170s if you do what we ask you to do. Sure enough, her next sentence, I decided to take another practice test to assess my progress at the end of August, and I got a 173. So she went from a cold diagnostic of 157 in 1 month to 173. That's a life-changing amount of improvement, but I'm sure she still has room to go from here. And there's no question you're going to continue. Like, if you practice long enough, Eve, you're going to see 180s on some of your practice tests. That's just pretty much guaranteed. She says, not bad for a month, but obviously I want to aim higher as well. You should. I thought that the questions I missed would be concentrated at the back of the sections where I wrestled with some pretty complex questions. Instead, I was disappointed to see that the questions I had got wrong were sort of scattered throughout each section. And when I looked back at some of them, I realized how easy they actually were. Even though I have tried my best to absorb your advice to not pay attention to the clock, my eye cannot help but twitch over and see that little timer counting down. I know that just considering the time for a moment throws off my rhythm and disrupts my concentration. I feel like my path to a higher score must involve overcoming this need to pay attention to the clock. Is this the sort of thing that irons out with practice as I take more PTs and timed sections in the future? Or is there some sort of mental block or strategy that I need to understand? Thanks for everything you do. I've found your advice indispensable so far. For reference, I don't have any official tests scheduled yet, but I do hope to apply in the fall 2026 cycle.
We're going to come back to that, Eve. Because
the cycle part?
That could mean two. I'm worried what that means, and I have some concerns. But in the meantime, Eve, I think there's something here that tells me where Eve's issue is, and that is that she is finishing the section.
Yeah.
And at 173, you don't need to finish the section.
No.
You would be better off, Eve, because, so what, 173, that means she's missing 1 to 2 questions per section. For every question she misses, she doesn't understand another one, which means she's not understanding 2 to 4 questions per section, at least fully, right, in the moment. Eve, what I don't want you to take away from what we're saying here is, oh, I need to slow down intentionally. Oh, I need to think about, I shouldn't move on yet because I need to go slower. That is just as big of a problem as I need to be going faster. I need you to just I want you to just solve the question. Sit with the question until it is solved. When you are satisfied that it is solved, then you may move on to the next one. And that means sometimes, if you're a low 170 score, that means sometimes you're going to finish the section. You're going to get that entire section right. I mean, sometimes you're not going to finish the last 2 questions of a section. And that is the sign that I see from the top scoring students, is when they are willing to not finish a section, even though their last 5 practice tests were all 175 plus.
Right. Because you're just, it took me longer. I had to solve it.
I didn't get to it. Yeah.
I hadn't solved it yet. So I can't move on if I haven't solved the question. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Eve says, considering the time for a moment throws off my rhythm and disrupts my concentration. There's 2 things there. One of which I think you should be worried about. Looking at the clock, thinking about the time disrupts your concentration. That matters a lot. Mm-hmm. But looking at the clock as the fact that it throws off your rhythm. What rhythm? I mean, some questions I'm going to answer in like 35 seconds.
Yeah.
Some questions I'm going to answer in 3.5 minutes.
Yep.
I don't know how long it's going to take me. There is no rhythm There's just reading it, rereading if I didn't understand, rereading it again if I still didn't understand, eventually unlocking it, making strong predictions, and then just no respect whatsoever for the answer choices because I know 4 out of 5 of them are wrong.
Yep.
If I do it that way, I'm predicting the answer to half the questions or more. The wrong answers look terrible. Sometimes I eliminate all 5 and have to spend a little more time figuring it out, but it's very rare that I get myself caught between 2 answers or even more than 2 answers. I'm never, I just don't get in that. I'm never burning time because I don't care about the time.
Hmm.
So I just understand everything that I read. Um, 2 easy tips, Eve. If you're not already turning off the clock, you should be turning off the clock. All you have to do is click the clock and it goes away.
Yeah.
Now, there is a little graphical depiction. There's a little bar, or the demon uses a wheel
Hmm.
that shows you here's what the time, like just a graphical representation of how much time's left. But because you can't see the seconds ticking down, I think maybe it's a little less distracting. Hopefully, it's a little less distracting. But there's also always the old sticky note. A little tiny piece of sticky note on your screen,
Yeah.
and just put it on top of where the clock is.
I tell my students to do the same thing, and they say that it is so helpful.
I mean, I think ideally you don't even have to do that because you just get used to it. You just get used to the fact that, oh yeah, there's this little thing, but that's not my business. My business
Hmm.
is this one question that I'm working on right now. I don't care how many questions I've completed. I don't care how many questions I have remaining. I don't care about the time, but I do care about this question and specifically this sentence. What am I reading right now? Do I understand what I'm reading right now? And you just have to stay in there. You have to do the work. The work is to
Hmm.
solve the questions. The work's, I don't know. It's like managing your time, worrying about rhythm, trying to make sure you finish the sections. That's not how you're going to get where you're going. But
Yeah.
you've already come so far.
In such a short amount of time. Just stick with it. You're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Here is where I wonder if the impetus of the question has come from. I do hope to apply in the fall of 2026 cycle. Does
Yeah. At this time of year, that probably means that Eve wants to apply now for 2026 admission. And I definitely think that that could be really just kind of holding you back. It's a little unfortunate. I mean,
Mhm.
law school only cares about your highest score. If you get another couple of scores in the 170s, I'd probably just go ahead and register for the next official test. But I also would be open to the possibility that I was going to take the test after that, and the test after that, and the test after that, and the test after that, because I want a backup and a backup and a backup, because I want to be able to treat each official test like it's just another practice test.
I have a question actually that I had with another student. Let's pretend that Eve is 173, 174, 175. That's where our practice tests
Yeah.
are. Is there any reason if she commits and listens to our advice and says, I'll wait, I'll apply next cycle? Is there any reason, and hopefully I'm hoping that they apply in the fall 2026 cycle, that means that you're going to apply next year, Eve? If so, great. That's exactly that's great.
If that's
So
what that means, perfect timing. I mean, she's got plenty of
perfect.
time.
Yes.
She
Yes.
doesn't have to take the whatever the next one is that she can register for, which is probably November at this
November
point,
at this
right?
point. That is correct. So
Yeah.
my question then is, let's say Eve could take November. Her scores are getting close to a 175. She could take November. Is there any reason to take November? If there are no life circumstances that change, why not just wait for January? Give yourself an extra 2 months and do January, February, April, June, August.
Yeah. I mean, something could happen, right? You could get sick.
Sure.
You could have a parent in the hospital. Your best friend's getting married. School, work, whatever. There's a million reasons why. So if the November test is convenient for someone like that,
Yeah,
I might just say,
do
"Hey,
it.
I think you're ready. Let's
Okay.
not overcomplicate this. I mean, I want you to have January and February and April and June on your calendar as backup dates.
Yep.
But if you want to take it for someone like Eve, who's already 173 and on a super upward trajectory and started so high as 157, go ahead and register for the November LSAT, Eve. I think you're going to kill it.
Yeah.
But I don't want you taking that test with an intention of applying this cycle. I think that would be
Oh,
just insane. I think
you'd be wasting such a great score.
well, and putting so much pressure on the November test.
Yeah.
Because really the November test is the absolute drop dead. Like, you're crazy for taking the January test and applying for this cycle. No way. Right. So,
No.
I mean, I wouldn't even do that with the November score. But that doesn't mean don't take November. If you're ready, you're ready. And if you are ready, why not just get on with it?
Yeah. Then come apply and come work at the Demon.
Oh, as soon as Eve gets her official 170 something, then yeah, I want her application. Absolutely.
Yeah,
We'll
please
definitely put her to work.
Come write some ask button answers. We could use all the help we can get. So
we need all kinds of help. We need
it's not just that. Yeah.
We need teachers, we need tutors, like eventually you're going to graduate and teach crushing 1L for us. We've got future law professors when we start our law school somewhere down the road.
And we have students who take one test, get their 170, and then come teach, and then they go back and then they take the test after having taught for a couple months, and they're like, "Wow, I am so much better at this test."
Yeah,
because
Jackson, Jackson's been TAing for my classes. He's already got his 170 something on record. He's been teaching classes. He's been tutoring. He's been doing Ask even before that.
Mm-hmm.
But he also is still a student. He just took the September LSAT. And yeah, the teaching is the best way to learn. So
best way.
170 anything even you can apply.
We'd
get to work for us. Eventually end up with your high 170s or even 180 and apply next September.
Yep.
You could also apply the September after that or the September after that.
or not at all if you decide
or
that
never. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a podcast episode that we get comments on often is something about like a high LSAT doesn't you're not required to go to law school if you have a high LSAT.
Yeah.
And I thought that was it's a pretty noteworthy episode. So.
Well, Ben Olson and Nathan Fox are going to tell you that LSAT tutoring and having your own business is a hell of a lot better job. I think it's more rewarding. It's more fun. I just think it's better in every possible way to start a business. And teaching is also just super, super satisfying. Super
teaching
rewarding.
Is very rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
At least
Anything
in the short run.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Anything else for Eve?
No, good luck. You're going to kill it.
Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.